Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Shots from the Bench. It's only sports talk, and of course, all opinions are both fabulous and flawed. I'm Bob Wiltman. My co-host is Bob Murphy, and Greg Malanzuker, producers behind the scene, tripping over wires, fixing the volume on the mics, and I don't know what he's doing with the waitresses, but that's for another show altogether. We're here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town. We'll be here every Tuesday from 6 to 7, so we invite you to come on in, join us, be part of the show. You can yell stuff at us from the bar, answer some trivia questions, even bring up some points that we'll put on the air if you're interested. And if you can't join us here, you can always get us on our website on the internet at www.shotsfromthebench.com. And, of course, Bob, we are the only sports talk show in the Villages that we know of. That kind of waters that down a little bit, doesn't it? The only one at Gators Dockside tonight.
Well, we're in Thanksgiving week, like you said. Huh?
Yeah, and we are actually in Thanksgiving week. And
I guess we got to celebrate in sports. Like we got to kind of look at like who's the biggest turkey. I think that's the easiest one we can pick.
okay,
who's
it's time
the
to
biggest
talk about
turkey
the
in
biggest
sports this
turkey in
year?
the sports. Well, we've got a couple out there. Do you have one in mind that you'd like to share with us?
The biggest turkey in sports, as far as I'm concerned, was Colin Kaepernick. He's the biggest turkey in sports
That's going to be
year.
tough to. That's going to
That's
be
my-
a tough
that's my
one
pick.
to top. You know what? I was thinking about it, and I thought, I don't know if I can come up with. I can't. You know what? I'd like to come up with something even more clever, but that
Oh, you can't come
that
up
says
with
it
that.
all.
You
That's,
can't beat that one.
He gets 2 votes.
That's right.
It's a unanimous choice, is what
That's
we're
right.
saying. So,
No.
but yeah, so much for that. So Colin Kaepernick, I think Kaepernick comes off as the
He's the
biggest
total,
turkey of the year.
I mean,
in
he's clearly
sports.
he shot to the lead, and he stayed in the lead all year long. So
Well, I'll tell you
that's
what,
good.
and beyond that,
I don't know who would be second to him.
well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I'll tell
really
you.
matter.
He's an NFL player, and NFL.
right.
That basically means it's NFL time. Let's talk a little bit about the games this past Sunday.
Well,
What
one
you
thing
thought
before we
about
get,
it.
before we get
Sure,
away with
sure.
Thanksgiving,
Yes.
we got to think about. Remember, we always do this. What are we most thankful for in sports?
In sports.
that you won't have your own personal things in sports, and I have mine.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I'll tell you what. If you have one, I'll let you
well,
start.
and when I look back on this year for me,
Yeah.
being a Mets fan and all, I think the most thankful thing is, for me in sports, was the fact that somehow, some way, the Mets made the playoffs this year.
And they
And,
deserve. You
that-
know what?
that was the thing
I
I was the
remember
most
you
excited
and
and
both you
thankful
and
for.
Greg being a little down in the dumps on them, and yours truly said he thought they were going to make it. And then again, I said, I don't think they are. After then a couple more guys got hurt, but they did make it.
Of course, my
So-
thankfulness didn't last long once I got beat in the first playoff game. in
But
the,
no, but that's a legitimate and
wild
I'm,
card game.
and I'm thankful for the fact that. And I'm not a big Cubs fan, but I know how important it was to the city of Chicago for them to win a World Series. I suspect they're going to win maybe 5 or 6 in a row coming up. So,
Right.
but for this year, I was delighted for all the Cub fans. I thought it was
Right.
something they had all been waiting for, and they showed some of those really old folks
Right.
in the stand. There were like 90-year-olds in there that were coming to they went to Cleveland. They traveled all the way to Cleveland to watch the game. I went, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I just felt happy for them. I mean, I think Cleveland's going to have their share, but 108 years, I think that's a long time.
yeah. After the season they had not to win, that would be getting like gravy and
Well, that's
stuffing in the face.
Stuffing
really,
in the face. You don't want
after
that.
all that.
That's right.
You know.
But
I can think of another turkey.
what's that?
I can think of another turkey.
Bring them out.
ESPN.
That's
is a turkey. But you know
that
why?
is I know
Because
why. That's a very good choice.
I turn on sports to watch sports, right?
Yeah.
I don't watch it to have someone preach to me about their political views.
Well, that's what
okay?
they definitely.
I don't want to sit. I don't want to go watch NBA countdown and have someone, whether they agree with this new president or not, and which I'm not going to get into that right now.
No, but
But I'm
that's
saying I don't want to hear that my children cannot walk outside anymore, and I'm sitting there for a half hour. All I want to do is watch the game.
Whoa.
I just want to watch the game,
I'm
and I don't
thankful
care
I'm thankful
about the
that
political.
I'm thankful
persuasion.
Greg can censor that. Greg can
You know.
edit that out. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I don't care care what your political persuasion is, and then or I don't care. I don't want a guy from ESPN telling me that my wife has to go to a certain bathroom in North Carolina with this other guy. You know, I mean, and I'm supposed to understand this.
Well,
I don't. That's not a place for it in sports. Sports should be sports. Sports has always been an escape from reality for guys and girls to get away from this nonsensical world that we live in.
Well, I agree.
But now they bring it, and that's why the ratings are down. That's why the ratings are down.
I think that is why the ratings are down, and I agree with you 100%. That's a very good choice for another turkey.
People are fed up with it, and before you know it, they're not going to be watching these games anymore.
And while you're talking about that, I'm going to get off on a political thing. I'm going to go to actual something that really bothers me now is the incessant, and I know it's good. The incessant replays. I don't. You know what? People make mistakes. The players that get paid $5 million a year drop balls right in their stomach while they're playing football, or they kick ground balls. Nobody seems to be in an uproar about that. But boy, if an umpire calls a guy safe who's out, or out who's safe, we've got to see it from 50 different angles. And I think that it's only going to get worse, because if you start questioning the calls now, now every time there's a play at second base, you got to review every play. And pretty soon it's going to, I know it's going to leak itself into third strikes and then basically just strikes in general. But
well, you want to speed the game up.
It's
but
now
you're giving
it's grinding it.
Now you're giving a flag or
way
whatever
to
to the
a halt.
manager to throw or to say I want to challenge that play out there.
Well, that's.
You know, so.
But
whatever.
like I said, it certainly isn't as strong or as apropos as your comment about ESPN, because they think they've gone way over the top on how they handle their.
Since it's Turkey Day, I just thought of another turkey.
Bring it
that
on.
I want to talk about.
No, I
don't
Greg,
want to get to this later. I
Not
want to
Greg
get to it now.
Malinzuk.
The turkey, another turkey award goes to these famous all-star games in these pro sports. That's a big turkey award.
That's just.
All right. So we got the Pro Bowl. We're so excited to bring the Pro Bowl to Orlando, aren't we? Oh, I can't wait to get there to watch them play flag football.
Flag football.
I mean, don't even touch each other.
With guys that weren't.
They don't guard each other.
Guys that weren't even voted into the game.
So how is that exciting?
All the guys that are filling in for other guys.
$60 or whatever it is to go watch this. It's a joke. It's become a joke. And then you got the NBA All-Star game. Used to be a pretty good game.
Well,
I mean, at least the second half of the game, they'd play some defense and try to win the game.
You're not allowed to play defense.
Right? We got Cowboys fans coming in. They're 9-1.
The Cowboys, they're having a horrible year.
There.
Eddie LeBaron. Let's see if they're not really fans if they don't know Eddie LeBaron.
That's right. Anyway, so you got these NBA All-Star games where they just stand there and let the guy drive right by them. I mean, we could drive to the hoop.
I was going to say, I think I could score.
I mean, if we could get it up there, get the ball up there. Whatever.
Of course, they could probably wait and just see how far they could spike
it's a joke.
Yeah.
And you know what? In the National Hockey League, they've gone to 3-on-3. 3-on-3. Oh,
with
that,
no checking, by the way, so
no
the
checking.
goalies are going to get just.
Oh, and the Pro Bowl is not the NFC against the AFC anymore. It's Deion Sanders' team against Peyton Manning's team or something.
Right.
You know,
or
Michael
Irvin.
How can I root for that? That's like it's like being out in the schoolyard.
Yeah,
and saying, "Oh, hey, you come over here, and you come over here."
You got to have somebody to root for.
People on your team that are from the AFC and the NFC, and I mean, how do you root for that?
I couldn't agree with you more.
You know, I mean, and yet they're promoting it like, "Oh, we can't wait to get to Orlando to see this game," which they moved down there for political reasons, by the way, which is another reason not to go. But anyway, and then you got the Major League Baseball has got it right.
Yeah, they have it right now.
That game means something. That game, the loser of that game.
You could see it this year. It did.
The
mean
winner
something.
of that game, rather.
Yeah.
That whoever wins if they win, their league gets to play the home game and open this World Series.
The Cubs had by far the best record, but because the American League won the All-Star game,
right.
the Indians got the extra game at home.
That's right.
You know what? Good.
So that's my turkeys of the year. I think they were well deserved.
Well,
and they're going to keep getting turkeys these All-Star games awards because they're unbelievable.
And while
they've ruined it.
While we're talking about turkeys too, another thing I think is, and we're going to go back politically a little bit, but I think the coaches that are coming out and downplaying the presidential election, and we're talking about Popovich and Van Gundy and Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know why they feel that they've got insight. They have the bully pulpit, so they can use it. I understand that, but I don't think anybody. I mean, they're all playing 5 to 10 guys. I said this to Greg, that all have rap sheets. They've got 4 guys with illegitimate kids, and they're talking like they're holier than thou.
Right.
Because
I'm not interested in their opinions on politics.
well, like I said, you know what? And I don't really care.
about their opinions
And I
on
don't care about
Yeah.
the players on their teams and all
No.
their problems that they have.
they
But
say they have-
They're
they
opening
want-
a door when they do
yeah,
that.
they want their platform.
Yeah.
They want a platform. Well, then don't expect us to watch your game. You know, like we talked about. That's why we're turning away from the games. Why fans are turning away because they want to have their platform or their
I hope they
way of
figure
doing it.
that out. You know, I have a feeling they haven't really
No,
caught on to
they
that
haven't
yet
gotten it.
by the
No
way
way.
they're talking. But somebody somewhere is going to tell them,
Right.
knock it off, because you know, it really, to me, it's cut and dried that that's the reason
Sure.
that people have turned the game off.
Sure.
You know.
Well, this past week we had, I guess the another Turkey Award for the short term could go to the place kickers in the
Wow.
NFL. We had 12 missed extra points this weekend.
Well,
I
you
think
kn-
that's the first time in history that's ever happened. I think that's the first time in history it's ever happened.
Is that the most that's ever,
Yeah.
ever been missed? Well, that doesn't surprise
one
me.
day.
As the weather gets a little colder and windier, I think you're going to see that. But the fact of the matter is that, but that it still doesn't excuse
think
Mike
of,
Tomlin. Mike Tomlin goes for 2 like every time, and I just think. But we were talking. It's 50%, right? Going for 2, and if you're going to miss that many extra points, you might as well go for 2. But I'll tell you what. It's a lot more sure 1 point than you know an up in the air for 2 points, and I just think you take the point when you can. But if enough guys miss the kicks, more and more guys will be going to 2 points. Pretty soon it'll be mandatory.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's amazing how many that happened. That's never happened before.
Well, I'll tell you
But
what.
Oh, we already?
So the turkey's on the table. We've gone over the turkeys,
The
and
turkeys are all
and
set.
thank you, Bob. I know that's a lot of food for thought. I'll see how many puns I can work in. But I'll tell you what.
Let's see what
knowing
we
that-
can come up with for dessert.
We'll be back with the second quarter playing. I'm sorry, shots from the bench right after this. I like that. We're back with the second quarter of shots from the bench here at beautiful Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they have the tastiest sports in town. And I don't know how we did in the picks last week, partner, but
haven't added them all up.
I can certainly remember that. I don't remember missing any, so I'll you know.
Oh, okay. Let's go over them then.
I'm not going to. Let's not go to the tape.
Let's go to the videotape.
Don't do that.
Let's go to the videotape.
Don't do that. Don't go to the tape on me. I don't need it.
Warner Wolf used to say that. Remember him?
Warner Wolf. Oh my
Let's
gosh.
go to the videotape. Never lies.
Well, let's see. Okay.
So the first game
Run
we
it
had last
down.
week was we had Green Bay. We had Green Bay versus Washington.
And aren't we figuring it out that Green Bay's just not that good a team this year? I mean, defensively they're not good.
No,
I don't think.
especially defensively.
But Rodgers isn't playing well until the other
Well,
team
you know-
gets into a prevent defense and lets
Yeah.
them come down the field. I mean,
well,
he's throwing very inaccurately in my estimation.
Well, he's not the same Aaron Rodgers.
That's
He's still
right, that's-
he's still good.
He's still good. Don't get me
But
wrong.
he's not-
but he's not
you
magical.
know, when you score 24 points is okay, 25,
not-
26.
he's
But
just
when
not
the other team
magical.
scores 42, that's a problem. You get a problem. Their defense is racked with injuries. Their defense has lots of injuries.
Well, I've
And,
done, no
of course-
offense, but so do all the other teams.
They came into they've got a hot Kirk Cousins who's
Kirk
playing great
Cousins.
for Washington.
Everybody was down all
And
over
he
Kirk
yelled
Cousins.
at his GM, you know, how do you like me now?
Well,
You see that?
Yeah, that's big. He can afford to be a big mouth now because he's going to be a free agent. You know
Right.
what?
Well, they didn't sign him to a-
If he keeps shooting
yeah.
his mouth off, it's
Right.
going to be franchise player tag time for you, Kirk. So
That's right.
I'd shut up.
Well, they
although
didn't
that's
sign
gonna
him to a long-term deal this year.
No, that's right.
And so that's probably why he's a
Yeah,
free agent.
Well,
But that's why he's yelling at
he'd be
him.
smart. Get into the playoffs first, then you can shoot your mouth off a little
But
bit.
he can throw a real nice deep ball.
He
The guy
throws-
is
He's
beautiful.
a very beautiful pass. He throws
Yeah.
a great pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So they dismantled Green Bay. We both took that game. So
Yeah.
we were both 1-0 on that one. And so we got to do this officially. Now, Seattle
no.
played Philadelphia. We both took.
We liked
We
Seattle.
both took.
We liked Seattle.
We both took Seattle, beating Philadelphia.
By
And
the
they're-
way,
Seattle is
Just a sidetrack.
Number
just,
two
I
in the
heard,
power rankings.
I heard the power rankings,
That's right.
the top 5,
yeah.
and Arizona's not there anymore,
No.
and neither are the Steelers, frankly.
But the Seahawks are.
Number 1 is Dallas.
Yeah.
2 is Seattle.
Yep.
3 is New England.
Yeah.
4 is oh, help me. It's one. Oh,
Well, it's going to be probably Oakland or.
yes. Thank you. It is Oakland.
Oakland's 8-2 or 7-2.
And the 5th team that came in, believe it or not, I think the 5th
8-2.
team, I think they threw in was hard to believe, but Detroit. I mean, because they're just on a roll. But
Yeah.
I hopefully I'm wrong there.
I
but
think you're
they're-
wrong on Detroit.
Yeah.
The
well,
Chiefs are up there. Oakland
Yeah, but
is up
they-
there. The
Chief-
Giants are doing well.
Chiefs
They're up.
cannot.
They're moving up.
Giants are winning by less than a touchdown, but you know what? Nobody cares, and they
Yeah.
shouldn't, because all you want to do is win the games, and they're getting the games won. They're not getting gaudy statistics. They're just winning all the games and making the play at the end of the game,
Yeah.
which they didn't do last year.
Right.
They're making the big play. Like I said, they picked the pass off. They're just playing good football.
We had Miami playing at Los Angeles
Yeah, I'm
with Jared
pretty,
Goff's.
I'm-
It was his debut.
I'm
his-
pretty
the
sure
number
I-
one pick in
I-
the draft.
I got caught up in the golf debut.
You got caught in the.
I
you
golfed.
did.
I golfed that one up.
You golfed. You golfed it up.
That was not good. Yeah.
But
I
he
made a
wasn't
mis-
that bad. He was 17 out of 31,
Oh, I think
134 yards.
I think he's
It wasn't like
smooth
throwing
looking.
the ball way downfield or anything.
I think the reason they waited so long to play him, and I hope I'm not telling tales out of school.
Yeah.
I just don't think he was grasping the offense the way Fisher wanted him to.
Right.
I think I'm not saying he's slow in the uptake, but he should have been starting about 7 games ago. But
Yeah.
I just don't think he had a grasp of it.
Of course, we had the Giants and the
The Bears.
and the Bears, the Bears,
We
and
wanted-
the Bears are
and we
the
wanted
Bears.
we wanted the Giants. You knew they were
Cutler,
gonna
by
be.
the way, is out for the season with another injury.
So now who are they going to? It's
You
going to
know,
be like
it's-
the
this is-
Browns.
Isn't this like a typical Bear season? I mean,
It
like,
is typical
you
Browns.
know,
and
halfway through the
Bears.
season or a little bit more,
There you
Cutler
go.
goes down and season's
But
over.
let's talk about that. We talked about the Cubs and the Indians, and the Browns and the Bears. They have absolutely nothing to look forward to. I mean, that's kind of. I feel bad for the fans. Not that bad, but holy mackerel, that's the antithesis. I mean, they have 2 of the best teams in baseball, and I think I don't think there's 2 worse football teams in the major leagues. Is there a worse team than either the Browns? I guess Jacksonville's not racking up points, but
Well,
I'll bet
Chicago's
they-
right there,
the
close
Pe-
to
they
the
gotta
Browns.
be with the- yeah,
Not
they
in the
gotta
same
be.
city, but
No, but
they're close
that's
to
right, yeah.
close in talent. Although the Browns are, I think they're 0-11. Yes,
Yeah,
something
that's
like that.
nice.
Oh,
Real
well.
nice.
Oh well, you know that you get the number 1 pick when you do that. So we both picked the Giants in that one. So
Good choice. Boy, am I good. I figured
So
that out.
we're doing okay. Okay, Arizona, Minnesota, we both took. We both
The
took
Vikings.
the Vikings. We were.
Vikings.
Their defense showed up in that game
And they and
and
what's and another
played like they were playing the first 5 games.
another famous line. They were due. I like when they were due.
They were due. It was their destiny.
They weren't due after they lost 3 in a row, but they were
Yeah.
due after they lost 4 in a row.
Here's a game I think we.
Uh-oh,
Both
I don't,
lost
I
on
don't
it.
like. Oh, okay.
I mean,
I'll-
who would have thunk it
oh, is
that
this the
KC would lose to Tampa Bay?
Tampa? I didn't.
I didn't see it coming.
Tampa, and I should have more respect.
I don't
for
believe it happened. I think it was someone's pulling the wool over our eyes.
Did somebody get hurt? I'm not being funny. Did Smith play the whole game?
No,
Uh,
Alex Smith was fine.
He was fine. They just got
Yeah.
beat. Oh well. So
Yeah,
give,
we blew it on that one.
give Tampa credit.
Here's where we differed, and you came up on the better end on this
Oh,
one.
I like when we talk about these.
And that was I took Tennessee over Indianapolis, and Indianapolis won 24-17. 17, but at a great cost. However,
Yeah.
Andrew Luck is
Luck got hurt in the
out
fourth
for
quarter.
maybe 1 or 2 games with a
Yeah, but-
concussion
and you know,
protocol.
I did watch some of that, and you know what? I do think that QB for Tennessee is gonna.
Yeah.
He has some. I think he has some real skill. I think
Right.
he can throw. He throws a beautiful pass.
Right.
I think so.
Oh, Mariota.
Yeah, I think I'll
Marcus
stay.
Mariota.
Keep it. I mean, I know his team around him isn't very good, but
Right.
I'll tell you what. They're gonna play him when they finally get good players around him. That's gonna pay dividends. He's really a good ball player.
Next game we split. Also, we picked differently here. I think you had Carolina.
Ooh.
I had New Orleans, I believe.
Doggone it. Why would you do that? Why would you pick New Orleans? Everybody knows they're not as good
Well,
as
no.
Carolina.
Drew Brees is having a great year. I
Yeah.
mean, at least. I mean, and Carolina's in disarray.
Yeah,
So I
they
was
really
happy we
are in
picked them.
disarray. But they still, nobody puts on a better dance after they score than Cam
Right,
Newton.
right. Cincinnati was playing Buffalo.
I don't know what I had the Bills. I can't remember who
We
you
both
picked.
took
yeah,
the
yeah.
Bills.
I don't understand why Cincinnati's not
Yep.
better this year. And now they've lost Green, I think,
Yeah.
for a few games
Right,
too.
AJ Green. Yeah.
They have-
Arguably the top 1 or 2 receivers in the NFL.
oh, there's no question.
Him and Julio Jones probably.
But even like I said, Dalton, he just doesn't. He's like
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. He just doesn't look that smooth to me anymore.
Yeah.
He looks like he's a little unsure, and maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't get to see him play the whole game.
We both took Pittsburgh over winless Cleveland. That wasn't too hard to
I
pick.
watched that game, by the way. That
Yeah.
do not watch that one at home, kids. That you'll wake up screaming.
We both took Dallas over Baltimore. Now, that was an interesting matchup potentially because Baltimore came in with the best run defense in the NFL against the number 1 running team in
What
the
do you get?
NFL.
He get 100 yards against? Probably close.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably close.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they just, that which opens up the field for Dak Prescott. What
Well,
a season he's having.
Yeah, but I think everybody understands that
Yeah.
once he's ready, you got to go to
Right.
Romo. That's a joke. But I like the newscast.
You got my attention on that
Is
one. I was
Romo-
falling asleep
Is
there,
Romo
but-
healthy?
Yeah.
When is he going to play? I said, well, if this guy gets hurt or if they lose 3 games in a row, I don't see either of those things
Well, they got
happening.
a security blanket for the rest of the season in Romo in case something happens to Prescott, but he's the man. He's the one that's going to do it.
He's the man, and
He's like
and
6'5",
frankly,
6'6".
He's
He
not going
sees
to.
over the top of that line. He can see things
He's
better
not
than
going to
Romo
stop
can see.
being the man. And Romo's going to be 37.
Yeah.
Romo, in fact, that's a topic in itself. Is where's
Right.
he going to go next year? Because he sure as heck, obviously the Bears could use somebody,
Right.
but I don't think Romo wants to go play for the Bears. He'll
It's just
get killed.
these retreads, they got to find their homes for the last couple of years of their
How
career.
many Brian Hoyers can you come up with?
I think the Jets should take Romo. That's what they.
Romo on the Jets?
Huh?
Are they
What's
are they
that?
good enough to? Are they good enough to? Will he flourish in New York?
No, I don't think anybody's going to flourish in New York. To be honest with you.
I think he's smart enough to maybe figure that one out. I don't think he's going.
That's right.
Actually, I think where he's going to go is go to one of the teams that has a good young quarterback, and maybe he'll mentor somebody. I'm trying to think.
Right.
Maybe Denver.
Well, I don't know. Trevor Simeon seems to be their future.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see.
he's a rookie, or
Yeah.
I mean,
they're going to play.
Romo. Yeah,
Broncos are 7-3 with him, so they're doing something
he
right.
has a chance. You go look for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You have a chance. But
So, finishing up this past week,
Osweiler.
I got to finish
yeah,
up
I'm
last
ready.
week.
I'm ready.
We got 2 games left here. We both took Detroit over Jacksonville.
Whew.
So that we took that. And then our last game Monday night is where we separated. Haha.
I don't like this. I don't like where we're going with this.
We separated on that one.
Well,
And you took Houston Texans, and they lost 27-20 to Derek Carr and Amari Cooper and company.
hey, don't blame Brock Osweiler for that one.
No.
No, you can't do that.
So last week, you were 9-4, pretty respectable, but I was 11-2. I just added them all up.
yeah, I had a down week. You had a hot week.
Yeah, but usually it's the other
That's
way
the
around.
fun part of it.
Usually you're the one that's winning. That's why I'm saying it so aloud
You
here.
keep saying that, but I'm still not sure that if you compiled them all, that I'd be in the driver's seat. I think we'd be very close.
It's extremely close. It's like unbelievably close.
I'll tell you what, we are wrapped up with the first half here of shots from the bench. Greg standing there twiddling his fingers and playing with his iPad. So we're going to be back, and we'll go get our brains beat in the locker room. Greg will tell us what we did wrong. We'll ignore him as always, and we'll be back with the third quarter of shots from the bench right after this. We are back with the third quarter of shots from the bench. We come prancing and careening out of the tunnel after our half talk tongue lashing, and we are back. We're back to do a better job in the third quarter. You know what? It's a game of adjustments. So we've made our adjustments, and we're going to come back. And one of the adjustments I'm going to make before we get into our picks, and I know everybody's just sitting on their hands waiting with bated breath for our picks. I was telling you off camera that one of the things that really I find annoying now, and it never used to be that way, but it is, while you're halfway through the year, do we have to talk on talk shows for an hour about who's in the bowl mix for the big bowl picture? Who's number 5? Who are the big 5 this week? To me, they still have to play each other like 4 times. They've been doing this now for 5 weeks, and will Washington get in? Well, I just maybe it doesn't bother you, but to me,
well,
it doesn't make sense. Is Alabama in it? Alabama's in it. Good. Ohio State, probably. Everybody else is probably.
The reason they're doing that,
is
because you can kind of get a feel now.
Yeah.
You have these only a couple, like you said, a couple of weeks left of football. I think you got a lot of your grudge matches coming up this week, and then you got your conference championships coming up the week after.
You're right. No, I understand.
But what you can see now is like, okay, these are your top 4, and with only a couple of games left, you can see you're favored in that game and you're favored in that game. You have a real good shot. And then that's why they have these committee now that picks the top 4, not necessarily based on the AP rankings.
Can you and I agree that it's not going to be fair, or it's not going to be legitimate no matter who they pick? Somebody's going to feel like they got left out, and then somebody say, well, I think we could move it up to 8. The same thing would still apply. Somebody who deserves to be in is going to be left out.
What I think the final 8 would do, though, would be your top 4 would be your secured teams. The bottom 4 would be kind of like, okay, we made it, but just made it, and they're not quite there as with the other 4. I think I like the idea of 8 rather.
Do you really?
Myself, I really do.
I really haven't given it much thought. I just don't like the idea.
It takes away some of these outer teams that are just on the fringe, and say, okay, we've expanded to 8. You got nothing else to cry about. All right, instead of a semifinal, you win one game, you're down to the Final 4. You win your next game, you're in the championship. I'd rather see it done that way. It's only one more week of play, I think it takes away any doubt, because right now, like you said, there's still a doubt. You could have teams that are same records or whatever. Then they're looking at strength of schedule.
I wanted to get Murphy's opinion, but I want this much of his opinion. No, I'm teasing. The fact of the matter is, but I want to talk about strength of schedule because it always comes up. These schedules are done 10 years ago. You're penalizing somebody for something that somebody put together 10 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it should be a criterion. I mean, obviously somebody's going to say, well, look at all the good teams we played.
Well, maybe
it just so happened this year that 5 of the teams you played were pretty good. But
or you can play quality wins. Quality wins is an important thing to go by too.
It's nothing that anybody.
Who have you beaten and that's any good?
Well,
that might be a better way of looking at it.
What if everybody on their schedule isn't any good? It's not your fault. Right. I can remember a time when Rutgers used to be good. I can remember a time when Boston College used to be good. Now they're pathetic. Now they're both like 0-9 or 1-10.
Yeah.
I mean.
See, I like the way this is setting up right now. This week, I like, of course, Alabama is unanimous number one.
Well, sure.
Obviously, they're the best team in,
But
in,
they're not.
in
Well,
college
they
football.
haven't lost.
Then you got Ohio State,
Yeah.
10-1. Clemson, 10-1.
Who lost to a mediocre team?
Well, they got one loss.
Yeah.
Michigan one loss, and Washington
They
one
lost,
loss.
But
Now,
here's
of that grouping, you know, I mean, I like that top four right there.
Well,
I mean, but I
what's
also like, let's see, who are we missing? Oh, Ohio State, Clemson. Oh, Clemson. Okay. Yeah, I like that top four right
what's more important in your mind? And I'm sincere about this because
Yeah.
is it who you've beaten or who you've lost to?
there. Who you've beaten.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I was curious because I guess that
Because
makes
you can play, you can not get up for a team, and lose a game you shouldn't lose, but to beat a really good, you know, when you play the two tough teams playing each other, that's when their true grit really comes out.
Here's why I disagree with you, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'm right or wrong, but I mean, so in other words, Pitt should say, hey, we beat Clemson. We should be right up there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they lost
Yeah.
a couple games that maybe they can say, well, we shouldn't have lost them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now that's a nice win, but when I'm looking at teams that are, I have to look at what mediocre team beat you. No offense, but Michigan lost to a mediocre Iowa football team. So do they deserve to be considered one of the 4 or 5 best teams? Now, but, you know, I'm not saying I'm right because I think your argument makes sense too. It's just something that I struggle with as I
Well,
listen
like
to
I
it.
said, you got some quality. Say Michigan, you got some quality wins in your bag.
But they're always going to play a good team,
Yeah.
or two good team or two in the Big
Right.
Ten. Big Ten will always have some, but some of these other teams, then they can't help it if they got a
Well,
lousy
after the
schedule.
top four, you're going to have some teams that are the same record. Like, for instance, if it goes the way it is right now, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson. Well, Washington, if they win out, they'll be only one loss as well. They'd have
But everybody will
they'd
tell-
have a bone to pick for
But,
not being in the
but
top
they'd
four.
say that who have you played?
Right.
You know what I mean? And all they can play is who's scheduled. Okay, if the Pacific 12 or whatever that's called now that they're playing and not in the West Coast,
Right.
if there's no good teams in that division or that conference, you're not going to play good teams.
Right.
No, what are you going to do?
I know it's a tough thing. That's
It
why
really is.
expanding it to 8 teams could be an answer for that, because now
I think you end up
when
disappointing
you got
even
that,
more
When
teams.
you got
but
that
you may be
fifth
right.
team or fifth or sixth team that feels they should be in the top 4, well, you're going to put them in the bottom 8, bottom of the get them into the 8 at least, and then they have a crack at these teams in a playoff scenario.
All right,
So
well,
that way, okay, we're not going any more than that. All you're doing is adding a week. I think it's a great idea.
All right, well,
Great idea.
thank you for letting me
And
get
that's all I
sidetracked.
have to say about that.
Okay, so don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you do know what you're talking about, just not tonight. Just like-
All right, so now I'll prove how much more I know about football than you by
you do.
picking the games this
Oh,
week.
okay. You are probably
Even
in
though
the lead for the
I
season.
got beat last
This
week.
week you did, but you're in the lead for the season.
I didn't get up for it last week. I
Yeah.
took you lightly.
I know. You had other things on
I had
your mind.
injuries.
You were
I was
injured.
injured.
Yeah.
I had a
You were in the
bad-
training room.
I sprained my tongue. I couldn't
That's
talk.
right. You were getting wrapped. Okay. We got some big Thanksgiving Day games in the NFL
Woo-hoo,
coming up.
I
Very
like
big.
it. Are they good ones?
Very good.
Great.
How can you get better than this? The Cowboys and the Redskins.
That's really a good game. You remember that?
Boom.
But it hasn't been. But that's usually who they play, or
Yeah.
isn't that like the? But now it's you got two of the best teams
Well,
going.
Dallas
How
probably
great is that?
Dallas best team in football right now, going against
Absolutely.
the upstart Washington Redskins in Dallas.
Nobody dislikes the Cowboys more than me, but you got to admit,
Yeah.
this is the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, and this is a rivalry game.
I know.
You know, it's great to see on Thanksgiving. You don't want to see. Sometimes on Thanksgiving we're watching. The Lions are having an off year, and they're playing Chicago, and they're having an off year, and yeah, football's on, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, now it's
but now we're like,
now
oh,
it's,
this game's
everybody
gonna
gets
be good.
fired up, and
Yeah.
plus you got talent. You got this Prescott, and you got
Kirk Cousins.
Ezekiel Elliott
Oh, Ezekiel
and
Elliott.
Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, good grief, these guys are really bringing it this year. So this will be I don't know if the game will be great, but the two
Yeah.
teams playing are really good.
It has the potential to be a good game. Now that's the second game of the day. The first game of the
Is
day
Detroit
is
still
for a
host?
division lead.
Is
It's
it-
the Vikings against Detroit in Detroit. Number one.
Detroit.
That's a noontime or one. I think it's a noontime start.
Detroit.
In Detroit.
I'm
Minnesota
gonna,
and Detroit beat them 22-16 in that particular game. I think that was the game the Vikings could have won had they had made an extra point and not gone to overtime.
well, I'm just measuring up the teams. I'll tell you, which one do you want to pick first?
Well, we'll go Dallas and Washington.
All right. I think Dallas is significantly better than Washington.
Yeah, I think they would be the
I think-
favorite.
I
I
think
think
they're- I think
Washington
they're-
could pull something out there, but
Washington. I think
likely.
Dallas has finally got a little bit of defense
Right.
going for them too now. Not great, but
right, I have to
better
agree
than
with you.
Washington's. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I think Dallas is going to score a lot of points. I really do.
Minnesota at Detroit. Vikings defense looked like they're the same defense that they had in the first 5 games. The offense is starting to click a little bit with their Pat Shurmur West Coast offense they've
Ooh,
gone
Pat
to.
Shurmur.
What they've gone
How
to.
much did he pay you to throw his name in there? Not on my
Well,
show.
just
You
a
don't
few,
come
just
in
a
with
few
it.
dollars. And of course, Matthew Stafford and the Lions have beaten the Vikings just a couple of weeks ago
You know,
at
everything
home, both 6-4.
everything screams that you'd think Detroit will win this game, but I think Minnesota will win it. I'm
You
going
think
to
they
take
will?
the I'm
So
going to
you're
take the
gonna-
Vikings.
You're going to take the Vikings.
Yes, sir.
I have to agree with you.
Oh.
I'm not going to vote against them,
All right.
so that's what we're doing. Okay.
Wait a
Third-
minute, Greg's coming out to pay. You
Oh, he's
gonna
got money?
pay us? What?
Okay, so we
You
got
said-
Thursday night. Thursday night. We got
Thursday night?
The Steelers are playing at Indianapolis. Now remember,
Luck's
Andrew
hurt.
Luck is out with a
And we don't
concussion.
know who the backup quarterback is because the Steelers usually backups sometimes make them look bad. I'll tell you what, if Luck's out, I'm going to take the Steelers.
Absolutely have to agree with you there.
I'll tell you what, that wraps us up. Greg's giving us the finger, which usually it
We're
means
wrapped up
one
the third
thing,
quarter?
but it means one other thing this time. It means we're running out of time, but I'll tell you what, don't leave us. We've got the rest of the NFL schedule going into the weekend, and we'll be picking games, and we'll be doing some mini rants. So we'll be back with the fourth quarter of Shots from the Bench right after this. We are back with the fourth and final quarter of Shots from the Bench here at Gators Dockside in the beautiful Brownwood section of the Villages. Gators Dockside, they got the tastiest sports in town. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Murphy, we've burned all our timeouts. We've iced as many kickers as we
right.
can.
That's right.
And we are in the fourth quarter. Now what do we do?
Well, we're going to continue with our picks for this
I
coming
like
week.
that.
Before we do,
Yes.
we had mentioned the game on Thanksgiving, the Detroit and Minnesota.
Yeah.
The news came out today
What's that?
that I saved money on my car insurance with Geico. No, I'm sorry. That's not. That was
What
totally,
is
totally
that's
inappropriate.
That's
That
good
wasn't true
news.
at
Yeah,
all.
well, but everybody was listening. I like
The
it.
news came out today that Adrian Peterson is going to be back for at least 2 or 3 games before the end of the season.
For the Vikings.
Yeah. So they got 6 games left. They're talking definitely 2, possibly 3 games. He'll be back in December.
Well, what they can't do is they can't play themselves out of the playoff picture before
Right.
he comes back.
Well,
and
that's
actually,
why this game.
I just think that they're an overall better team than Detroit.
Think of this: they're playing Detroit this week, right? They're 6-4, 6-4. The Lions. Coming up the week after, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys and in Minnesota.
I picked them there too.
You picked the Vikings in
Yeah,
that game?
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see how they go. We're not picking that game
The
yet.
Ice Bowl all
But,
over again. I like that.
But anyway, so just wanted to mention that before we get back into these
Sure,
picks.
sure,
okay,
sure.
we finished off with Pittsburgh and the Colts,
Absolutely.
and we know why we picked Pittsburgh because of Andrew Luck being out.
I did. Yep.
Now we've got Jared Goff, his second start of the Rams, number 1 pick in the draft,
Yeah.
against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans, and you don't like them. You're going to go with this rookie quarterback.
I think the Saints are
And
making
Todd Gurley's their running back.
Saints are making a push for the playoffs now, aren't they?
Well, they're both 4-6 going into the game.
Well, the Saints in that division. I mean,
Saints
the Saints
are desperate for a win.
they're desperate
They
for a
both
win.
are.
But if they, I think that's a game the Saints. I think they still think they're in the hunt, and I still think that they can put up a lot of points. And I just don't think that the Rams can score with them. So I think I think this it's going to be like a 35-20 game.
Well, Todd Gurley is a nice running back for. He was one of
Oh,
the
there's
top
no
picks
question.
last
He's
year.
excellent. He's one of the best backs
for
in
the
the league. I
Rams,
really agree.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the home team here because of simply because of Drew Brees and the season he's had.
Oh, well,
I agree with you on that. Okay.
I like him too.
Yeah. Now this one's not a tough one for us. It's the Titans at the Bears. Jay Cutler's done for the season. Even if he was there, we wouldn't pick him.
I got news for you.
In Chicago.
If Walter Payton was able to be reincarnated in Gale Sayers, I like Tennessee in that game.
That's right. That's a good analogy. I like
I
that.
just don't like
I like that one.
the Bears.
Gale Sayers or Walter Payton.
They've already who's Fox is their manager, their coach, right?
So by the way, Walter Payton, what a great player, right?
Sweetness, yeah.
I had the opportunity one time to go to a dinner. It was a fundraising dinner, and I sat right next to Mike McCoy, who
Wow.
was an All-Pro
I remember
at
Mike
Green
McCoy,
Bay, and he was an
sure.
All-American at Notre Dame.
Well, Mike McCoy
He sat
is a
next
good
to him
player.
the whole night. The only time in my whole life I got to sit next to someone like that, and he was just talking to me all night, and I was like picking his brain, asking him all kinds of questions, and what I got out of that guy, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, especially at that time. Who was the strongest guy he's ever played against? I figured he'd say Dan Dierdorf
one of the
or
big
some
linemen.
big lineman that he
Yeah.
played against that just knocked his block off or was unbelievable. He says, Bob, he goes, the strongest player he's ever played against by far, not even close, was Walter Payton.
Walter Payton.
Walter Payton would knock guys out trying to tackle him with his legs, with his thighs. That's why guys would give him, pretend they're hitting him and just let him go. Because
He and Barry Sanders were not the biggest guys in the world,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you what, Peyton was as good as
Right.
good as it gets. Peyton was good.
Yeah, just had a sidebar
I like
to
that.
that.
That's a good story. I like
So we both took the Titans over the
it.
Bears.
I'm taking the Titans.
There's no Walter Payton there.
No Peyton. No,
The Cardinals, free falling.
they're
Uh,
and their coach
fourth-
is sick or something.
coach is sick.
Yeah.
At the Falcons, who have also they're playing good. They're looking to get back on the snide again. They're 6-4.
Oh, are the Falcons that low now? They're free falling again. Where's the
Yeah,
game?
well they lost a game.
Is it in Atlanta?
Pardon? It's in Atlanta.
All right, because I still have, at the beginning of the year when they were power ranked 1, I still don't see what
No.
everybody was juiced up about the Cardinals defense. I still don't get it. I think that Atlanta will have their way with the Cardinals.
I agree with you on that one. That my
Yeah.
voice get a little weird on that one, but
Sure.
yes. Okay. Again, here's not a hard one. This is an easy one here coming up for you. The 7-3 Giants against the Browns.
You know what?
Against the Browns.
I do think that the Browns play with
They're
a lot
0-10.
of spirit. A lot of spirit. But I watched them play, and I thought if anybody was going to beat Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's playing pretty poorly. I said in Cleveland, I think Cleveland just doesn't have the talent. It's not there.
So the Giants are going to 8-3.
Giants.
8-3 Giants.
You're going to see a big game. Where is it, New York or Cleveland?
It's in Cleveland.
Well, I'll tell you what, the bad weather might affect the,
They'll affect Cleveland.
it might affect Beckham, but I don't think it's going to be.
Cleveland will be even worse
It's
than
going to be
usual.
a 30. It's going to be 30-6. Cleveland's not going to score a touchdown.
Okay.
They're playing Jake McCown now. I mean,
The 4-6. So we both picked the Giants, obviously, in
Yes,
that
yes,
one. The 4-6 Chargers are going to be playing at the 6-4 Texans with Brock Osweiler and company, the defense there.
boy,
They're
that's
6-4, the Texans, at home.
Yeah, and they're in first place, I think, in their
That's
division,
a
right?
upset special sitting right there, possibly. You
Well,
think
it's-
Phillip Rivers and
it's-
company going to?
But they're basically out of it almost, right? What are
Who,
they, 4-6?
Chargers?
No, Rivers.
Well,
4-6.
I mean, they could run the table and be.
All I hear is how
10-6.
great Rivers is,
or
and maybe he
9-7.
is, but they never have a good record. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll take the Chargers.
Yes. I'm happy about that.
All
'Cause
right.
I'm taking the Texans.
All right. You
we
can.
got to have a
You're
difference.
going to go with Brock
gotta-
Osweiler. All right.
well,
I'll remember that.
So all he's got to do is hand the ball off to their guys.
Okay.
Okay, we got the 2-8 Jaguars at the 5-5 Bills. Bills needing a win. Actually,
the
the
Bills.
Bills coming off a win.
Where is it?
Pardon?
Where is it? In Buffalo?
It's in Buffalo.
Buffalo.
The
They'll
Bills
kill.
play last
They'll
week.
kill 'em.
Forgot.
The Bills will kill them.
Oh,
I'll
absolutely.
take the Bills.
Yeah.
Although I got to admit, if that was in Jacksonville,
Buffalo beating Cincinnati this past week with Tyrod Taylor and company.
Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor, that's a great name, I tell you. Great name for football, too. I think we're both going to take the Bills in that one. Okay, we got the Bengals free-falling
Boy, oh
at
boy.
the Ravens. Halfway decent team. At
The
the
Ravens need that game. Is it in Baltimore?
Yes, it is.
Ravens need the game desperately. The Bengals,
Yep.
I just don't. I can't. The Ravens' defense is better than
Right.
people think.
Sure.
I don't think that Cincy will score many points on them.
We got the 1-9 49ers at the 6-4 Dolphins. Obviously, we're going to go.
No,
we're gonna
the
go Dolphins.
49ers are I like this. Bereft of talent.
Now,
I like
who would have thunk it earlier in the season that we would be saying the 7-4 Dolphins? But that's what's probably going to happen.
Oh, that's what's going to happen.
You know, because they really turned their season around. They were looking terrible the first few games.
They pumped out a couple good wins against.
Well,
They
their
beat the
yeah.
Steelers. They beat I want to
Well,
say
their
they
running
beat
game has
they
picked
beat the
up.
Falcons, right?
They had a non-existing running game the first few games, and now it's really been
They
playing
beat
well.
the Steelers and the Falcons. I mean, they beat some teams they
Yeah.
weren't supposed to beat,
Yep.
even at home.
So we're both going to go with the Dolphins.
Yes.
Now, the Seahawks really up there again in the rankings, 7-2-1 at the 5-5 Bucks, who've played respectably lately. Still not enough.
Sorry, Bucks.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough.
I'm sorry, Bucks. I don't think that's going to happen.
My heart goes with the Bucks, but my brain goes with the Seahawks.
Yeah, even though the Bucks did have a nice
Yeah.
win over KC, KC's one of those entities that they can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody.
And
And I
here's
think
one
That's what happened.
that's going to be the upset special. The Patriots at the Jets. It's going to be the upset special for someone, but not me.
Who's quarterbacking the Jets?
Ryan
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick. Somebody's going to be involved with that as an upset
I know
special.
they're looking
but it's
at him
not
for
gonna
a
be me.
spark, but I think it's due to him that they have the record that they have. I would.
So you're gonna pick the
I
Jets,
would
aren't you?
bet. I'll tell you what. That's one where I think we got to do either an over under
Yeah?
or how much are they going to win by? Because I got to
Well,
think
we're not doing it that way.
Gronkowski will be back. I think. I just have a feeling
It won't matter.
that's a 42-10 game. I can smell that one.
Okay, we're both taking the Pats, obviously, in that one. Okay, boy, probably the most disappointing team in the NFL, the
Okay.
Carolina Panthers,
Very disappointing.
4-6
Yeah.
at the 8-2 Raiders. The Raiders are back. 8-2.
At the Raiders.
Derek Carr and Mari Cooper and company, and that young defense, great
You know what?
receivers.
Is Carolina
I-
is Carolina even in their conference or division?
Are they what?
I mean, how many games are they behind? Who are they in with Atlanta?
Oh, they are in last place,
Oh,
behind New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and
oh,
Atlanta.
they're behind all those teams,
They're basically 2 games back. 6-4 Atlanta and 4-6.
but they're on the road.
They're on the road.
I think that Oakland is going to beat them. I'll take
Oakland's flying right now.
Oakland's
I'd have
playing.
to agree with you.
Oakland's playing very good football.
Yep, like them a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, the 7-3 Chiefs are at the 7-3 Broncos. How about that one?
Boy, I'm going to take the Broncos only because if you're not used to the mile high thing, that can sometimes be very disruptive to play up in Denver.
That is a tough game. 1 minute. Okay, quickly, we got to go through these. I'm going to go ahead and take the Chiefs.
Okay, you got a couple more?
Yep, we got the Packers at the Eagles. Packers
Eagles.
are disarray. Me and you.
We will.
And then we got the last game here. Oh, no, that was the last game. Packers
Okay.
and the Eagles.
There you go.
So we're thankful that we finished that.
We're thankful. That's definitely what we're.
Another thing I'm thankful for, if the NBA season were to stop right now, the Knicks would be the 8th seed in the East. Thank you, good night, and good night.
And if it was to stop December 31st,
And the Magic
they'd
would
be
not
out
be
of
in.
the playoff. That's okay.
But unfortunately, the season is over.
Root for the Knicks. All you closet Carmelo fans out there.
Yes, yes.
Root for the Knicks.
That's
Well,
right.
I'll tell you what. We thank everybody for paying attention and listening to us. Sometimes we have trouble doing it to ourselves, but I'll tell you what. I'm Bob Wiltman, and for Bob Murphy, my counterpart, and Greg Melanzuk, our producer, thank you for listening or paying attention and watching us on the internet. We'll be back next week with another session of Shots from the Bench. Thanks again, folks.
Never even got to number one in tennis.
I don't care about
That's okay. Doesn't matter.
Screw him. He's British.
Whoa.